Texas A&M takes on Mississippi State this weekend at Kyle Field, and it's time for some bold predictions.
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. You are Locked On the Texas A&M Aggies. I am your host, Matt Galatzan, publisher of Texas A&M Aggies on SI. Thank you for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. DJ, we're about 48 hours, give or take, from kickoff as we record this from a pretty big SEC matchup between Mississippi State and Texas A&M at Kyle Field. Texas A&M is currently 14.5-point favorites. I think I've been saying all week, I think that line is too much because I think Mississippi State is a very underrated football team. They can run the football very well. They play tough defense, and they're just a gritty team. So I'm interested to get into that and dissect that with you. So we're going to go through some bold predictions that we have for this game, our X factors in this matchup for both teams. And then we'll give our weekly prop bets galore segment, as I have begun to call it, where we will go through all of our favorite prop bets and give you our over-unders. We were toast last week after saying Mario Craver was easy money or free money for that over on the passing yards. That didn't happen. But hey, A&M won, so it's fine. But all right, let's get into our bold predictions, DJ. I'm going to go first, and I am going to say, for my first bold prediction, Mario Craver gets back over the 100-yard mark after a disappointing 4 catches for 34 yards last week.
I like that. I feel like what did you say, 34 yards?
Yeah, he had 34 yards last week.
It really feels like that should be 134 yards, but I feel like last game was really a fluke. And I think he'll get back to where he's been recently, especially against his former team. I think he's going to come back with a fire.
Yeah, I think that it being against Mississippi State, he's going to have a little bit of extra oomph in his route running and his explosive plays. So I think he's going to want the ball a lot, and I think they're going to give him the ball a lot in this game. So I'm going over. I'm going to give him that over 100 yards in this one. What's your first one for me, DJ?
My first one is I'm going to go A&M records 10-plus penalties again.
Okay.
I feel like that's something that you can't just fix overnight, especially when you're recording 13 a game like they have been these past two. I mean, it cost them 85 yards or 86 against Notre Dame, and then over 100 again last week. When it's that big of an issue, you just can't fix it overnight. So I think they're going to do it again.
Yeah, I like the Cabo fund that Mike Elko is setting up for the penalty yards and the players.
We'll see if that
and all
works.
That stuff. That was a good one. But yeah, I mean that's huge. You can't give up that many penalties. I mean, Ole Miss against LSU had like 14 penalties for 100 some odd yards. And despite dominating that football game in almost every aspect, that one factor almost blew it for them. So, yeah, I like that one a lot. They can't afford that against the Mississippi State team that can run the football. Fortunately for them, Mississippi State's also penalized a lot. So we may have a very long penalized game here on Saturday, DJ.
Just like last week.
Yeah, just like last week. For my next one, I am going to say that are we going negative? I guess you went negative with the penalties.
Yeah.
So I can go negative. I think Des Ricks gives up his first touchdown of the year this week. I just have a feeling like he's been so good. Eventually, he's going to make a mistake at some point. I feel like this could be the week that it happens.
It's got to happen at some point. I'd rather him get it out of the way early and get it out of his system now. But it's got to happen at some point. He's not perfect as much as A&M fans may wish he was or think that he might be. But it's not realistic to go completely perfect. throughout a season. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, maybe he will, and he'll be the best corner in the history of college football. At some point, he's going to give up a touchdown. We'll see. We'll see. He's so good, though. He's so good. All right, your final bold prediction for us, DJ.
I think Texas A&M is going to continue its hot streak on the defensive line, and I think they're going to get to the quarterback 4 times this weekend.
4 times.
I
Who's
think 4
getting those
times.
sacks?
I think Hal's going to get 2, and then I think York will get home on a blitz, and then maybe Tyreek Chappelle on a corner blitz.
Okay, okay, I like that a lot. I don't know if anybody saw this clip of Taurean York from last week against Auburn that was online. I think somebody put it on TikTok where he's just his play recognition was just absolutely insane throughout the entire game. He knew almost everything that Auburn was going to do throughout the entire game. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was able to do that again this week against Mississippi State because it's not a very complicated offense that they run either. It's very much a spread veer type of like it's a spread offense, but they run the football down your throat a lot, and they'll try and hit some explosive plays. But for the most part, it's a pretty simplistic offense that's just built on explosive plays and running the football. So that'll be interesting. I think he's going to have a really, really good game. As a matter of fact, he might be in our next segment as one of our X factors. You never know. Just a little tease there. I'm going to go with one more. Um, I'm going to go with one more, DJ. And I know that Texas A&M did a great job of stopping the run last week, and it's not exactly proof that they have figured it out necessarily, because they got run on very, very effectively by UTSA. They got run on very, very effectively by Notre Dame. But I love Fluff Bothwell. I think he's awesome. I think that they hold Fluff Bothwell in check, and he has a very meager performance on the ground because Taurean York is going to know everything that is coming his way. And I think they're going to take the Mississippi State's best player out of the game.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at earlier. I was really pleasantly surprised about how they've been able to turn around the run game. And that's one thing about Taurean York. I feel like him just being so cerebral, it really adds another dimension to that team. And something I'd love to see is just his huddle like log hours. Like I just want to see what that number is because it has to be something ridiculous every week.
Yeah, that guy's watching film 24/7. I feel like
Yeah.
he's either playing football or he's watching film. That's how it feels.
Yep.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to give you our X factors for each team in this matchup on Saturday, and then in our last segment, we are going to get into our prop bets galore segment. So stick with us after this break, and we will be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today to get started. Today's episode is also brought to you by Square. There are certain businesses that make the neighborhood the neighborhood. These are places that become an extension of home, whether it's a sports bar dedicated to your team's fan base, the spot with the best wings in town for game day, or that beloved local chain that's been rooted in your community for years. These businesses are what bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Take this as an excuse to go support your local favorite spot. Like, DJ, what's your favorite spot in College Station?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. Probably Copy Bridge.
Yeah,
Copy
that's a
Bridge
good one.
burgers.
Yeah, that's a good one. Tortilleria Mitiera. I can't say that correctly, but I love it. It's delicious. That's another spot. You can have yourself a day in the neighborhood. Square is a partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses across the world. You can go into square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy that you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. All right, so who are the X factors for Texas A&M and Mississippi State in this football game on Saturday. I keep saying it, and I've been saying it so much that it's probably not going to come true, and A&M's going to end up winning by like 50. But I think this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people think. 14 and a half just seems too big. The way that Mississippi State was able to take Tennessee to overtime last week, I know that game was in Starkville and all those things, but that's a really good football team. They also beat Arizona State, so we'll see how they perform in their first big test on the road. But I do think this is a much improved football team over last year. The turnover is incredible with the amount of players that they have had influx into that program over the last 8 months and change or whatever. But there's going to be some players that we think are going to make the ultimate difference in this football game. And I'm going to start with Texas A&M. I have a sneaky suspicion that Reuben Owens is going to have a big game here. Le'Veon Moss has been so good, but I feel like Reuben Owens is due for a big one. And I think he either breaks a big run or catches a big pass and really breaks this game open and gives A&M some momentum early on in this football game and gets this offense on track early. I mean, he's just so explosive, and he can do it in so many different ways. He's bound to explode at some point, and I think that this could be the game.
That's actually hilarious that he was your number one guy, because when I was sitting down thinking about my X factors, he was the first person that came to mind, and I was like, yeah, I wanted to say him, but I had two other guys that I came up with. But I completely agree. I think he's been one of those guys that Texas A&M fans are saying, we have this Ferrari parked in the garage and we don't drive it at all. We drive our other Ferrari all the time. This one needs I want to see what this one can do. Mm-hmm. And so I think that this week is going to be the one that they kind of get, they give Reuben Owens the shot. And I think he'll make the most of it.
All right. So we're in agreement there. What's your first X Factor, DJ?
For Texas A&M, I'm going to go with Amari Niblack. It feels like we've just gotten little tastes of what he can do. We haven't seen exactly, what we've kind of hoped that he'd be. But, I mean, he's been consistent. Both of his catches were for 23 yards. He's looked very, very athletic on both of those catches. It's just something that I wish I could see a little bit more out of him. Marcel Reed has proven that he loves to find the tight end between Barkircher and Melon Orstrom. I think that Amari Niblack is, if he can get into that rotation a little bit more consistently, I think he could become one of the a million guys that defenses has to point at and look at on the bulletin board and say, we need to cover that guy.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. He feels like he's been on the cusp and he hasn't really gotten going yet. So it's a matter of time, kind of like Reuben Owens to an extent, but he's been a little bit less involved. I think that he's due to have a breakout game at some point. He's just too talented and too athletic to not have it happen at any point. So I like that one. I'm going to give you one more Texas A&M one before you give us your Mississippi State one, DJ. And I kind of teased it in the last segment. I think Taurean York is going to be the ultimate X factor in this game for Texas A&M. His ability to diagnose every single play, his play recognition, his tackling ability. He's playing like one of the top linebackers in the SEC right now. He was unbelievable against Auburn, absolutely unbelievable. I think that this is another game that he is built to absolutely wreck shop, and I think he's going to have a big one here against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I remember when Edgerrin Cooper was drafted, and everyone was like, oh, linebacker is going to be a question mark for this team. But Taurean York immediately stepped into that role and kind of just became like a mini Edgerrin Cooper. And that's really what we've seen out of his play style. He might not be as fast, but his decision-making and explosiveness, and he's there by the time the ball's snapped. And that's not out of he's fast enough he just knows what's going to happen. It's really, really exciting to watch. And I think he's one of those guys that, like you said, this offense, it kind of reminds me of Tennessee's offense, but just kind of simplified a little bit. And it'll just it makes guys like Taurean York shine.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just so good, man. He's so good. he's going to play a long time in the NFL, and then when he's done in the NFL,
Yeah.
he's probably going to be a coach. Like, he's one of the smartest football players I've ever seen. All right, give us your X factor from Mississippi State, DJ.
I'm going to go with defensive tackle Kedrick Bingley Jones. He's one of the big guys in the middle. He's just kind of led the charge in their run stopping ability this year. They've kind of struggled last year. They struggled early on in the season with it, but over the past couple of games, he's been one of those guys that stepped up and has really been one of those anchors in the middle. Against Tennessee, he had 3 tackles, but he's one of those guys that doesn't really show up on the stat sheet. But when you watch the film and watch him, it's like you can tell he's making an impact on those plays.
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. I really like him a lot. I think that's a good pick because he's going to be crucial in helping to stop that Texas A&M running game. So that's a good pick there, DJ. I'm going to go with I'm going to stick on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to go with Brennan Thompson. He's their explosive playmaker. I mean, they've got 2 really good receivers on that team. Anthony Evans and Brennan Thompson are both very explosive, but Brennan Thompson is an absolute track star with his speed. He's a Texas kid. He originally committed to Texas over Texas A&M and a couple others. I think Oregon and Oklahoma State were the other 2. I felt like it was kind of down to Texas A&M and Texas. He ended up picking Texas. Now he gets to come back to his home state. I don't know how far his hometown is from College Station. Let me check that real quick. Bear with me right here. Okay, well, it's 8.5 hours. God, Texas is huge, man.
It's
Good Lord.
massive.
Yeah, he's from the top of the Panhandle, but it's still kind of a homecoming.
Okay.
He's coming back to the state of
Yeah.
Texas. 8.5 hours, you're still like in Texas. That's unreal, man. Good Lord. But I think he's due for a big game here. He was the guy that really put them over the top and scored that winning touchdown against Arizona State. I think he's going to have a good one here. He's just so fast and so hard to cover. So that's my pick there. Any thoughts on that one, DJ?
Yeah, I think last year it was kind of watching the Mississippi State team last year after Shapen got hurt. It was like this team has something. Like they're good. It's just they have to put it all together. And Michael Van Buren came in and he was somewhat, I wouldn't say like impressive, but it was like this kid has the bones to be good. This team has the bones to be good. They just have to put it all together. And I think Shapen coming back is really letting those guys that were on the team last year kind of shine the way that they should have last year.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's a great game manager and he's an accurate quarterback. So I totally agree. All right, let's take our next break. When we come back, we are going to give everybody we're going to go through our prop bets galore segment and bring you our picks for over unders and yardage totals and those things like that, and who we think could overperform or underperform expectations. So stick with us after this break, and we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else as of August 2025. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings this same intention to how we craft every model. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes relevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. College football is back, and I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that delivers, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. I pulled up Game Time and in just a couple taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games for as low as $25. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Alrighty. It's time for prop bets galore, DJ. one of my favorite segments of the week because we have been awful so far this year. It's been pretty easy to take the overs on Texas A&M for the most part, but it was just brutal last week because most of them were under their projections, which I think surprised a lot of people. I think a lot of people assumed there'd be more points scored in this game. I was one of those people, but hey, we're back this week and we get to have a little redemption tour. So let's start with passing. Marcel Reed over under 257.5. I'm gonna go over. I just think he has another big game with those receivers with explosive plays. They get that thing fixed, and he goes over. I'm not saying he's going to throw for, what did he have against Notre Dame? Like 360 something. Like I can't remember.
Something ridiculous like that.
He had a massive game. I don't think he's going to go that nuts, but I think he's going to get around 260, 270, and get the over in that one.
Yeah, I agree. That one, it's one of those ones where I think you go either way, but I think I'll take the over on that one too. I think between Conception and Craver, and then the tight ends too, I think he'll get there.
Yeah. Blake Shapen over under 217.5. This is hard. I think I'm going to go under. I think he gets around 200. But I think that they really focus in on the running game this week. I mean, they had kind of a shootout with Tennessee last week, and I think he threw for like 180, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he threw for 180. Yeah. He was 18 of 29 with a touchdown and a pick. I think he kind of goes a little bit over that, but not much. So I'm going to take the under on the 217.5.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll get to the 200 mark, but I don't think he goes the 17 that he needs to get there. He's been over 200 twice.
I just think A&M has a better secondary than Tennessee. So it's not that much better. It's close. So I think it's probably more around the same. All right. Touchdowns. Both quarterbacks at 1.5. I think Reed goes over, and I think Shapen goes over.
I agree on both of those.
Yeah, I just think that there's going to be touchdown passes in this game. Maybe they're from the red zone for Shapen, but I think he's going to get a couple. All right, let's go rushing yards. Le'Veon Moss, 92.5. I'm going to go under in this one because I think that he's going to be a major focus for Texas A&M, and that's why I think Reuben Owens is going to kind of show out in this game because he's going to be kind of the change of pace guy that breaks a big one. So I'm going to go under for Le'Veon Moss.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna say the same thing. I think that he's been one of those guys where everyone kind of expects him to get the ball, but I think A&M's going to keep using him the way they have been, just kind of saving him for the short yardage, goal to go situations. So I think he's going to go under, and he'll probably end up with like 3 touchdowns.
Okay. Fluff Bothwell. 57.5 feels low because Texas A&M has had one good game at stopping the run this year, really.
Yep.
And he's a bowling ball, man. He is an absolute bowling ball. I'm going to go over, I think. I don't think he goes nuts because I think Taurean York is going to be able to bottle him up a little bit, but 57.5 feels low to me.
I agree. I think he's one of those guys that he can just get it going, and even if he isn't picking up a ton every play, I think they'll just keep pounding the rock.
Yeah, I agree. That's just the focus of their attack. So I feel like he's got to do more.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with Marcel Reed, 37.5 rushing. I think he's going to go under because I think he might get sacked a couple.
I think so too. I think he'll go under. I think he won't try to run as much too. Mm-hmm. I feel like as it's kind of gone on, like we've seen him move less and less, and he's been trying to pass the ball a little bit more, try to stick in the pocket a little bit more.
I agree. All right, receiving. Mario Craver, 83.5. I already said he's going to bounce back, so I'm going over. Old team, he's going to be motivated. I got the over.
Yeah, I mean, I just have last week in my mind. It's like I want to say over. It's gonna he's crush it, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the over. I think he's got the motivation there. It's his old team. He knows them. He'll go over.
Yeah, this is our redemption tour on Mario Craver, so we're hoping he goes
Oh
over.
yeah,
Casey Concepcion 65.5. He's going over.
yeah,
He's so hard to stop, man. He's just so quick, and having both those guys out there. If both of them don't eat, one of them's going to eat, and it seems like KC's the one that's going to eat as well. So I'm going over.
yeah. I'm going over. He's just able to find maps super easily, and it's pretty impressive. And then even if he's not open, he is because he just has an insane catch radius.
Yeah. Okay, Anthony Evans, 53.5 for Mississippi State. I'm going to go under on this one because I think that he's going to be matched up with Will Lee a lot. I mean, who knows? They could flip him back and forth, but either way, I feel like if there's a receiver that goes under for them, it's going to be him. I think he's going to get bottled up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, especially with Willie kind of soft launching his NFL career coming up.
Yeah, and he shut down Cam Coleman.
He's going to be a little bit extra motivated. So I agree.
All right, Brennan Thompson. The over/under is at 46 even. I think he's their explosive playmaker in this game. I'm going to go with the over.
Near with the under, just out of I think the A&M secondary is just going to be ready for this one. If you have these guys up front doing their job, getting after Shapen, kind of forcing errant throws, I think the secondary is going to be able to eat. And especially with York sitting there too, that's always going to be in the back of his mind. So I think it's going to be a rough day for him through the air.
Okay. Last prop bet. You can do this a little differently, DJ. Anytime touchdowns. I'm going to read you 3 guys from each team, and you are going to give me the one that you think absolutely scores in this game. Okay?
Okay. Out of both teams or just?
Yeah, for each team.
Okay.
One guy from each team that absolutely scores a touchdown. For A&M, we've got Le'Veon Moss, Mario Craver, and Casey Concepcion. I'm going to pick Le'Veon Moss because, like you said, I think he's going to be hammering it at the goal line if they get down there. So he's my pick for that.
Has he had a game where? Yeah, has he had a game where he hasn't found the end zone?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like it. And then for Mississippi State, we're going to go Fluff Bothwell, Brennan Thompson, and Anthony Evans. I'm gonna pick Brennan Thompson. I'm sticking with it. It's 8.5 hours away. It's still a homecoming. I don't care. He's getting in the end zone.
I think I'm gonna go. I think he reminds me so much of Le'Veon Moss. Just kind of the big body, like bowling ball. Just kind of get him in there. He's gonna pick up the 2 yards if it. Yeah, like I'm betting on Fluff if he needs 2 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It'll be hard to keep him out of the end zone, and if they get into a goal line situation. So I like that one. All right. Well, so we're both going over for Marcel Reed 257.5. We're both going under Blake Shapen 217.5. We both think that the quarterbacks are going to go over with the 1.5 touchdowns. I have Le'Veon Moss we both had the under on that one. At 92.5. We both had the over at Fluff Bothwell's 57.5. Under at the Marcel Reed 37.5. Mario Craver, I had the over. I believe you had the over as well on 83.5. Casey Concepcion, we both had the over at 65.5. Anthony Evans, I had the under at 53.5. Did you have the under as well in that one?
Yeah.
And then I had the over on Brennan Thompson at 46. You had the under at Brennan Thompson. Anytime touchdowns, we both picked Le'Veon Moss. You picked Fluff Bothwell from Mississippi State. I picked Brennan Thompson. All right, well, that is going to do it for another episode of Locked On Aggies. Thank you so much for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. But hey, it's another big moment for Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. It's a college football preview that only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our podcast, give me a follow on X at Matt Galatzan. Give DJ a follow on X at DJ Burt. Follow us both at Texas A&M Aggies on SI, and we will see you next time.